Mr. Horace White, a journalist in the time of Abraham Lincoln, who was privileged to follow Mr. Lincoln through many of the Lincoln-Douglas debates, and who became actually a friend of Abraham Lincoln, had this to say about Lincoln. The popular conception of Mr. Lincoln as one not seeking public honors but not avoiding public duties is a postbellum, after the war, growth, very wide of the margin. He was entirely human in this regard, but his desire for political preferment or advancement was hedged about by a sense of obligation to the truth, which nothing could shake. This fidelity to truth was ingrained and unchangeable in all the speeches I ever heard him make, and they were many. He never even insinuated an untruth, nor did he ever feel, when stating his opponent's positions, to state them fully and fairly. He often stated his opponent's positions better than his opponent did or could. To say what was false, or even to leave his hearers under a wrong impression, was impossible to him. Within this high enclosure, he was as ambitious of earthly honors as any man of his time. Furthermore, he was an adept at log rolling or any political game that did not involve falsity. I was secretary of the Republican State Committee of Illinois during some years when he was in active campaign work. He was often present at meetings of the committee, although not a member, and took part in the committee work. His judgment was very much deferred to in such matters. He was one of the shrewdest politicians of the state. Nobody had more experience in that way. Nobody knew better than he what was passing in the minds of the people. Nobody knew better how to turn things to the advantage politically, and nobody was readier to take such advantage, provided it did not involve dishonorable means. He could not cheat people out of their votes any more than out of their money. The Abraham Lincoln that some people have pictured to themselves, sitting in his dingy law office, working over his cases till the voice of duty roused him, never existed. If this had been his type, he never would have been called at all. It was precisely because he was up and stirring, and in hot, incessant competition with his fellows for earthly honors, that the public eye became fixed upon him, and the public ear attuned to his words. Fortunate was it for all of us that he was no shrinking patriot, that he was moved as other men are moved, so that his fellows might take heed of him and know him as one of themselves and as fit to be their leader in a crisis. And that was what Horace White said of Abraham Lincoln. Horace White lived from 1834 to 1916 and was an eyewitness to the speeches Abraham Lincoln gave and was a friend of his.